She fixed a Korean Mafia boss blown tire on a dark road. The next morning, a Rolls-Royce Phantom stopped outside her house. The rain hammered down like the sky was trying to wash Atlanta clean when Scarlett Peterson saw the black Rolls-Royce pulled over on the shoulder of I-85, hazards flashing like a desperate plea for help. It was 3:15 a.m. and she was bone-tired from a double shift at the diner, her feet throbbing in her worn Nikes. Tonight's tips barely enough to cover her phone bill that was already 3 days overdue. Every sensible part of her mind screamed, keep driving. This was Atlanta. Nothing good happened on dark highways at 3 in the morning, but Scarlett had been raised by a mother who believed in helping people. No matter who they were, no matter the circumstances. And something about the way the man stood in the downpour, staring at his flat tire like it was a problem he couldn't solve with money, made her pull over. She grabbed the battered roadside kit from her trunk, the one her Uncle Jerome had insisted she keep after her mother passed, and approached cautiously. The man turned and Scarlett's breath caught. He was young, maybe 30, Korean, with features so refined they looked sculpted. Rain plastered black hair to his forehead, and his custom-tailored suit was being ruined by the second. But that wasn't what made her pause. It was the elegant tattoo visible at his collarbone, intricate designs that peeked above his collar and crawled up his neck. Delicate but commanding, the kind that suggested wealth and taste rather than danger. His dark eyes assessed her with an intensity that made her hyper-aware of every raindrop, every breath. "You need help," Scarlett called out, raising her voice over the relentless rain. He looked at her like she was a mirage. Then something shifted in his expression. Surprise, maybe. Or disbelief. "You're stopping to help me?" His English was flawless, accent barely noticeable, voice smooth and cultured like aged bourbon. "Looks like you need it." Scarlett gestured to the flat tire, water streaming down her face. "You call roadside assistance?" "My phone died." He said it like admitting a strategic error. "And I've never changed a tire in my life." Scarlett blinked. This man who looked like he could buy her entire apartment building without checking the price, who wore a suit that probably cost more than her car was worth, who carried himself with the quiet confidence of someone used to being obeyed, had never changed a tire. Despite everything, the rain, the exhaustion, the sheer absurdity, she laughed. "Seriously? I've always had people for that." A hint of a smile touched his lips, self-deprecating and surprisingly human. "Until tonight, apparently." "Well, tonight you've got me." Scarlett popped open his trunk, found the spare tire pristine and untouched like she expected, and got to work. The rain soaked through her uniform until the blue fabric clung to her skin, her hair plastering to her face, but she'd done this countless times. Uncle Jerome had made sure all his nieces and nephews knew how to handle car trouble. "You don't survive in this world without knowing how to take care of yourself," he'd always said. "I'm Scarlett, by the way. Choi Junhwa." He crouched beside her, watching with absolute focus as she positioned the jack. Not hovering, not mansplaining, just observing like he was genuinely trying to learn. "What are you doing out here this late?" she asked, grunting as she loosened the first lug nut. "Coming from a business meeting." It ran later than expected. Something flickered across his features. Much later. Scarlett didn't ask what kind of business meeting happened at 3 in the morning. Didn't need to know. She just focused on the tire, the familiar rhythm of the work, trying not to notice how Junhwa watched her every movement like he was witnessing something remarkable instead of basic car maintenance. Trying not to notice the way his presence seemed to fill the space around them despite the vast empty highway. When she finally tightened the last lug nut and lowered the car, she was drenched and exhausted, but oddly satisfied. "That should get you home safe. Get it properly looked at tomorrow, though." Junhwa stood, and Scarlett realized he was tall, at least 6'2", and the way he moved was deliberate, controlled. "How much do I owe you?" "Nothing. Just pay it forward someday." She headed back toward her car, wringing water from her uniform. "Wait!" His hand caught her arm, gentle, but she felt the strength behind it, the certainty. "Your name. Your full name. Where you work. I need to thank you properly. It's not a debt. It's just helping someone out." But something in his eyes, earnest and intense and almost vulnerable, made her answer. Scarlett Peterson, Peachtree Diner on Northside Drive. She hesitated. But really, you don't have to. I will find a way to thank you properly. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a card, placed it in her hand. Heavy cardstock, elegant lettering. This I promise. The way he said it felt like more than a social nicety. It felt like a vow. Before we continue, if you want to discover how Scarlett and Junhwa's impossible love story unfolds, and what happens when a Rolls-Royce shows up at a waitress's door the morning after one rainy night, make sure to hit the subscribe button on this channel. Drop a comment telling us which country in the world you're watching from. Each view helps bring more heartfelt stories like this one to life. Scarlett drove away with her heart pounding harder than it should, watching him disappear in her rearview mirror. She told herself it was just adrenaline, just the strangeness of the situation, just the exhaustion playing tricks on her mind. But deep down, she knew something had shifted. Something about the way he'd looked at her. Not like a waitress in a soaked uniform, but like a person who'd done something extraordinary, suggested this wasn't over. That a single act of kindness on a dark highway was about to change everything. Scarlett woke to pounding on her apartment door that felt like it was rattling her skull. 9:47 a.m. 3 hours of sleep after getting home at dawn. She stumbled out of bed in her sleep shirt, squinting through the peephole. Her younger sister Maya stood there, eyes wild, gesturing frantically toward the street. Scar, you need to see this. Now! What are you doing? Now! Scarlett threw on jeans and followed Maya down the narrow stairwell of her Mechanicsville apartment building. The morning sun hit her eyes like a slap, but that wasn't what made her freeze on the sidewalk. A Rolls-Royce Phantom, gleaming black, impossibly elegant, sat parked in front of her building like a spaceship that had landed in the wrong neighborhood. A driver in a crisp black suit stood beside it, and half her block had gathered, phones out, already filming. Miss Scarlett Peterson? The driver's voice was professionally neutral. That's me. He opened the rear door. The back seat was filled with boxes. Designer labels she recognized from magazines. Chanel, Dior, Gucci. Mr. Choi asked me to deliver these, along with an invitation to dinner this evening. 7 p.m. He'll send a car. Maya grabbed Scarlett's arm, her grip tight enough to bruise. This is insane. You don't know this man. What if he's dangerous? But Scarlett was staring at the handwritten note resting on top of the boxes, the calligraphy elegant and precise. You got soaked helping me. Please accept this. JH. Take them inside, the driver said quietly. Mr. Choi was very specific. He hopes you'll join him tonight. Back in her apartment, boxes covering every surface, Maya was already on her phone. Choi Junhwa, CEO of NextGen AI. She turned her screen around. Net worth estimated at $8.7 billion. Billion Scar. Self-made. Korean immigrant who came here at 18 for MIT. Built his company from nothing. She scrolled frantically. He's 31. No criminal record. Philanthropist. Tech Wunderkind. She looked up. And apparently he sends Rolls-Royces to waitresses in Mechanicsville. Scarlett opened the largest box with trembling hands. Inside, wrapped in tissue paper, was a leather jacket, buttery soft, perfectly tailored, the kind of thing she'd never let herself even try on in a store. Beneath it, a simple black dress. Both exactly her size. How did he know her size? You're not seriously considering this. Maya's voice had gone sharp with worry. One dinner, Scarlett heard herself say. Public place. Then it's done. He just wants to say thank you. Don't lose yourself in someone else's fairy tale, Scar. Maya's eyes held fear and something else, concern that Scarlett was already halfway gone. You're not Cinderella. This isn't a fairy tale. But holding that jacket, reading his note again, feeling the quality of something she could never afford, Scarlett's heart was already pounding with a dangerous mix of attraction and intimidation. Her ordinary world had just shattered. And terrifyingly, she wanted to see what lay on the other side. The restaurant was upscale but not intimidating, exposed brick, warm lighting, the kind of place that whispered elegance rather than screaming wealth. Scarlett wore the black dress and leather jacket, feeling simultaneously like herself and like she was playing dress-up. Junhua stood when she arrived, and the formality of the gesture made her heart skip. He wore a different suit, charcoal gray, the neck tattoo visible above his collar. His eyes held something she hadn't expected, nervousness. "Thank you for coming," he said as she sat. "I wasn't certain you would." The Rolls-Royce was pretty persuasive. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. "Too much. Definitely too much." They ordered. The server left. And then Junhua leaned forward, his expression suddenly serious. "I should tell you who I am," he said quietly, "so you can decide if you want to continue this." Scarlett waited. "I came to America at 16 with my parents. My father worked in a factory. My mother cleaned houses." His fingers traced the edge of his water glass. "I got into MIT on scholarship, worked 3 jobs to help support them. Started NextGen in my dorm room with $2,000 and a laptop I'd saved for 2 years to buy." "And now you're worth billions," Scarlett said, not quite a question. 8.7 according to Forbes. He said it without pride or apology. "But success has been." He paused, searching for words. "Lonely. People want what I have, not who I am. Every conversation feels transactional. Every relationship has an angle. Until someone stopped to change your tire. Until you stopped." His eyes held hers. "You saw someone who needed help. Not a billionaire. Not a business opportunity. Just a person stranded in the rain." The server brought their food. They ate slowly, conversation flowing easier now. "My mother died 3 years ago," Scarlett found herself saying. "Cancer. I was supposed to finish my teaching degree, but..." Her throat tightened. "Money ran out. Time ran out. She ran out." Junhua didn't offer platitudes or solutions. Didn't suggest he could pay for her degree or fix what was broken. He just listened, his attention complete and unwavering. "I'm sorry," he said finally. "Loss like that, it changes you." "It does." She met his gaze. "Makes you appreciate people who see you. Really see you." "Yes." The word was barely a whisper. They talked for 2 hours. About dreams deferred and sacrifices made. About immigrant parents and the weight of expectations. About loneliness that came from being surrounded by people who wanted pieces of you, but never the whole. When the check came, discreetly handled by Junhua before she could protest, he walked her to the waiting car. But before she got in, he caught her hand gently. "May I see you again?" His formality had returned, but underneath was something raw and hopeful. "Not because I owe you. Not for business or obligation. Because I want to know you, Scarlett Peterson. I want to understand what kind of person stops in the rain at 2 a.m. for a stranger." Scarlett's practical voice screamed warnings about billionaires and waitresses and impossible fairy tales. But her heart, her stubborn, hopeful heart, whispered something different. "Yes," she said. "I'd like that." His smile transformed his face, made him look younger, less guarded. "Then I'll call you tomorrow." And as the car pulled away, Scarlett realized she was already counting the hours until he did. The second date couldn't have been more different from the first. Korean barbecue in a strip mall in Buford Highway, plastic chairs and sizzling meat and absolutely no pretense. Junhua wore jeans and a simple black t-shirt that somehow made him look more intimidating than the expensive suits, like he was comfortable in his own skin for the first time. "This is more my speed," Scarlett said, and meant it. "Mine too." He smiled, flipping meat on the grill between them. "The fancy restaurants are for business. This is for living." Over bulgogi and soju, the conversation went deeper. He told her about growing up lonely even with money, parents working brutal hours, him raised more by textbooks than people, feeling invisible despite every material comfort. "I had everything except what I needed," he said quietly. "Someone to actually see me." Scarlett shared her dream, the one she'd buried with her mother. "I wanted my own restaurant. Small place, maybe 20 tables. My mother's recipes. She taught me everything about cooking, about feeding people the way love should taste." Past tense. His eyes were gentle. "You still want this? Wanting doesn't pay bills. Wanting is where everything starts." After dinner, he hesitated at his car. I know this might sound forward, but would you like to meet Kimchi? My cat. I rescued him 2 years ago. He's terrible at being a guard cat, but excellent at judging character. His penthouse was modern but surprisingly warm. Books everywhere, plants on every surface, floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing Atlanta's glittering skyline. And curled on the couch, an orange tabby who immediately launched himself at Scarlett. This is unprecedented, Junhwa said, watching Kimchi purr in Scarlett's lap. He usually hides from strangers for days. Maybe I'm not a stranger. She scratched behind Kimchi's ears. Maybe he knows I'm safe. They ended up on the balcony, city lights spreading below them like scattered stars. Talking about everything, favorite books, worst jobs, childhood fears, adult hopes. Hours disappeared. And then, sometime after midnight, Junhwa turned to her. Scarlett, She kissed him before he could finish. Soft, tentative, tasting like soju and possibility. His hand came up to cup her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, his forehead rested against hers. Stay, he whispered. Just to talk more. I'll take the couch. I don't want tonight to end. She should have said no. Should have been sensible. Okay. She woke to sunlight and the smell of something delicious. Junhwa in the kitchen cooking Korean breakfast, kimchi jjigae and rice, moving with easy confidence in this one domestic thing he'd mastered. Good morning, he said, and his smile was unguarded and real. Scarlett's heart did something dangerous in her chest. I'm falling for him, she realized with equal parts wonder and terror. Actually falling. And from the way he looked at her, like she was the view instead of the skyline, he was falling too. The next 6 weeks blurred together in a haze of stolen moments and growing intimacy. Early morning coffee before her shifts, Junhwa arriving at her apartment at 5 a.m. with pastries and dark roast, just to see her before she left for work. Late-night phone calls that stretched until dawn, talking about everything and nothing until her voice went hoarse. He started showing up at the diner during slow afternoon hours, sitting at the corner booth with his laptop, ordering coffee and pie. He tipped well, 30%, not the ostentatious hundreds that would embarrass her, and chatted easily with her coworkers. Marcus, the cook, actually liked him. That meant something. He's good people, Marcus told her one day. Asks about my daughter's soccer games. Remembers names. That's rare. She met his people too. Martin's his driver, who had a gentle smile and photos of grandchildren in his wallet. Mrs. Kim, his housekeeper, who spoke broken English but communicated affection through home-cooked Korean meals left in containers with Scarlett's name on them. One evening on his rooftop, the city glowing below them, Junhwa's carefully maintained composure cracked. I haven't felt this human in years, he said quietly. With you, I'm not the CEO or the net worth or the success story. I'm just me. A person. Not a walking company. Scarlett leaned against his shoulder. I get it. At the diner, I'm just the waitress. Not Scarlett with dreams and fears and a brain that never stops thinking. Just someone to pour coffee and smile. You hate it. I don't want to be stuck there forever. But I don't know how to get out. The admission hurt. Community college tuition is $8,000 a semester. I make maybe $22,000 a year. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, you'll do it. I see that strength in you, Scarlett. You'll find a way because you're brilliant and determined and you don't give up. He didn't offer to pay. Didn't try to solve it with money. Just believed in her. That meant everything. Meeting Maya was terrifying, but Junhwa won her over within an hour by asking about Scarlett's childhood. Wanting stories, memories, the real her before he'd known her. He's good, Maya whispered in the kitchen. I still think this is insane, but he's genuinely good. The I love you came during an ordinary moment, cooking dinner in his kitchen, Scarlett teaching him how to make her mother's mac and cheese, his attempts clumsy but earnest. I love you, he said suddenly, wooden spoon dripping cheese sauce. I know it's fast. I know it's terrifying. But I love you, Scarlett Peterson. Her heart stopped. Started again. Raced forward. I love you too. The words felt like jumping off a cliff. I'm absolutely terrified, but I love you too. He kissed her, tasting like cheese and joy, and promises neither of them knew if they could keep. They were falling completely. Both exhilarated. Both waiting for the moment it all fell apart. The photo appeared on a gossip blog Tuesday morning. Scarlett mid-laugh, Junhwa's hand on the small of her back as they left a restaurant. The headline screamed, "Tech billionaire Choi Junhwa's mystery woman. Who is she?" By noon, her life had exploded. Wednesday, customers started taking photos. Not of their food, of her. Asking invasive questions disguised as friendly curiosity. "So how'd you meet him? What's it like dating a billionaire?" One woman actually said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Must be nice, landing a rich man. Beats working for a living." Thursday, her manager pulled her aside during her break, his kind face troubled. "Scarlett, I love you, you know that. You're one of my best." He sighed heavily. "But this is becoming disruptive. People are coming here to gawk, not to eat. I've had 3 complaints about other customers being photographed in the background of pictures people are taking of you." The humiliation burned in her throat. "I understand." Maya called that night, voice tight with worry. "Scar, are you okay? I'm seeing things online. People are vicious. They're calling you names, posting your address." "I'm fine," Scarlett lied. When Junhwa came over Friday evening, finding her red-eyed and exhausted, he immediately went into problem-solving mode. "I'll have my PR team handle this. We'll release a statement, control the narrative, maybe arrange an interview where we—" "Stop." The word came out sharper than she intended. "Scarlett, I don't need you to fix this." Her voice cracked. "I need you to understand that my life is being turned upside down. People are taking pictures of me at work. My manager basically told me I'm becoming a liability. Strangers are commenting on my body, my background, my bank account, analyzing whether I'm good enough for you." Junhwa stepped back, stricken. "I didn't mean. You're used to solving problems with phone calls and money and teams of people. But this isn't a business deal. This is my life falling apart, and you wanting to handle it makes me feel like another problem to be managed." Silence filled her small apartment. Then Junhwa sat down slowly, running his hands through his hair. "You're right. I'm sorry." His voice was quiet, stripped of the CEO confidence. "I'm used to fixing things. I wasn't listening to what you actually need. I was trying to protect you the only way I know how, but I wasn't hearing you." Scarlett's anger deflated into exhaustion. "I just need you to understand. To be here. Not to make it go away. I can do that." He reached for her hand carefully. "I'm here. However you need me." They reconciled that night, holding each other in the dark. But outside, the pressure kept building. And deep down, Scarlett wondered how long they could withstand it. The video went viral on a Thursday. Someone had recorded Scarlett at the diner, refilling coffee, taking orders, wiping down tables, and posted it with the caption, "Billionaire's girlfriend still slinging hash browns. Guess the prenup hasn't kicked in yet." 3 million views in 12 hours. The comments were a feeding frenzy. "She's pretty but basic. Girl, at least get some decent clothes if you're dating a billionaire. He's clearly slumming it for the novelty. How long before he upgrades?" Every aspect of her appearance, her job, her background, dissected by strangers who knew nothing about her except what they could judge in a 30-second clip. By Friday, reporters were calling the diner. 2 showed up during lunch rush, cameras ready, asking invasive questions until Marcus had to physically escort them out. "Scarlett," he said gently after they left, "maybe you should take a few days off. Let this blow over." She was being asked to hide. In her own workplace. Because she'd fallen in love. Friday evening, Junhwa came home from a board meeting, his jaw tight. Richard expressed concerns about optics. Said the media attention is becoming a distraction from the company's message. He said it like the words tasted bitter. Like you're a problem to be managed. That night, his mother called from Korea. Scarlett couldn't understand the Korean, but she heard the disappointment in the woman's tone, the sharp questions, the long silences. When Junhwa hung up, he looked hollowed out. "She thinks I'm making a mistake," he said quietly. "Questions my judgment. Wonders what I'm thinking, bringing someone like you into our family. He looked at Scarlett, anguished. Her words, not mine. I told her she was wrong, but she's not the only one thinking it, Scarlett finished. Saturday morning at 6 a.m., Scarlett opened her apartment door to get the newspaper and found 3 photographers camped on the sidewalk. Cameras immediately started clicking. Questions shouted. Scarlett, are you living together? Has he proposed? What do you say to people who think you're after his money? She slammed the door, heart hammering, feeling trapped in her own home. That's when something inside her broke. I don't belong in his world. The thought had been whispering for weeks. Now it screamed. I'm not sophisticated enough. Not educated enough. Not good enough. I'm a waitress from Mechanicsville who stopped to change a tire. That doesn't make me qualified to date a billionaire. It doesn't make me worthy of this. When Junhua called that afternoon, she let it go to voicemail. And the next call. And the next. For 3 days she didn't answer. Didn't respond to texts. Just sat in her apartment with the curtains drawn, telling herself this was temporary insanity. A beautiful dream that was always going to end badly. Better to end it now, she reasoned, before the fall destroyed her completely. Better to walk away while she still remembered who she was. Even if walking away felt like tearing out her own heart. Day 4, Junhua walked into the diner during the lunch rush. Scarlett saw him through the kitchen window, and her heart stopped. He looked wrecked, suit wrinkled, hair disheveled, dark circles under his eyes like he hadn't slept in days. He hadn't, she realized. Because of her. He sat at the counter, ordered nothing, just waited until her shift ended at 2. Marcus squeezed her shoulder as she clocked out. Go talk to him, honey. Whatever this is, talk it through. The parking lot was empty except for their cars and the summer heat shimmering off asphalt. Junhua stood beside his car, hands in his pockets, looking more lost than the night she'd found him stranded on the highway. 3 days, he said quietly. I thought, his voice broke. I thought I'd lost you. You haven't. But even as she said it, Scarlett wasn't sure it was true. Then what happened? Tell me. Please. The dam broke. I'm losing myself. The words came out harsh, desperate. Every day I'm becoming a headline instead of a person. Strangers analyze my body, my job, my background, deciding if I'm good enough for you. Photographers camp outside my apartment. My manager asked me to take time off because I'm becoming disruptive. Your mother thinks you're making a mistake. Your business partners think I'm a distraction. Her voice cracked. I can't breathe, Junhua. I can't remember who I was before all this. He stepped closer, and she saw tears tracking down his face. I've been trying to protect you, he said hoarsely. But I haven't been listening. I've been treating this like a problem to solve instead of hearing what you actually need. He took her hands, gripping them like lifelines. So tell me now. What do you need from me? Tell me how to make this work. Scarlett's throat tightened. I need space to remember who I am. I need this to be ours, not the world's entertainment. I need, she struggled for words. I need you to choose me over what everyone thinks. Over optics and business associates and your mother's approval. Then that's what we'll do. His voice was fierce now. Whatever it takes. I'll step back from public events. I'll release a statement saying our private life is off limits. I'll tell my board and my mother and anyone else that this isn't up for discussion. He cupped her face gently. Whatever you need, Scarlett. Just don't leave me. You'd do that. She searched his eyes. Risk their disapproval? The criticism. Scarlett. He pressed his forehead to hers. I don't care about any of that. I care about you. About us. The rest is just noise. Something in her chest unclenched. She wrapped her arms around him, feeling him shake with relief as he held her back. They stood in that parking lot, both crying, both terrified, both choosing each other anyway. I love you, she whispered against his shoulder. I love you. His voice was wrecked. We'll figure this out. Together. 3 months later. Life found a new rhythm, quieter and infinitely sweeter. Junhua declined high-profile events, issued a firm statement through his PR team. My private life is not public property. I ask for basic human respect for privacy. The media, eventually starved of content, moved on to other stories. He started visiting her world. Her neighborhood with its soul food restaurants and corner stores. Her favorite bookshop where the owner knew her by name. Sunday dinners with Maya, where he learned to make cornbread and failed spectacularly, but kept trying. She let him help with small things, fixing her car's check engine light, upgrading her phone when it died, without feeling like charity. Learning to accept care without losing herself. They found balance. Her shifts at the diner. His meetings and board calls. Their evenings cooking together, Kimchi supervising from the counter, growing fatter and happier by the day. 6 months later, the business publication wanted a profile. Junhwa agreed with strict boundaries. Work only, private life off limits. The reporter, ambitious and relentless, kept pivoting to relationship questions. Finally turned to Scarlett, who'd been sitting quietly in the corner. Ms. Peterson, some critics say you're a distraction from Mr. Choi's work. How do you respond? Junhwa stood immediately. This interview is over. But Mr. Choi, she is not a story. His voice was steel. She is not a headline or a debate topic or entertainment. She is the person I love. And if you cannot respect that basic human dignity, this ends now. He took Scarlett's hand and walked out. The exchange went viral. But this time public sentiment shifted. Finally, someone treating their partner like a person, not PR. This is what respect looks like. He ended a major interview to defend her. That's real. Scarlett realized, watching him choose her again, that he'd proven himself repeatedly. Time to fully trust it. She showed up at his office unannounced, heart pounding. I've been so afraid of losing myself, she said without preamble, that I almost lost us. He set down his pen, full attention on her. I want this. Us. A life together. She took a breath. But I keep my job until I'm ready for the restaurant. We build this as equals, not you funding my dreams, but both investing in a future we create together. Equal partners, he said immediately. In everything. Equal partners, she agreed. 1 year later. Korea was terrifying. His mother, elegant and reserved, assessed Scarlett with sharp eyes over traditional tea. But over 3 days something shifted. She saw her son's happiness. Saw how Scarlett challenged him, supported him, made him laugh. The evening before they left, his mother took Scarlett's hands and said in careful English, "You make him whole. That is enough." The proposal came on an ordinary Tuesday, cooking dinner together, kimchi weaving between their legs. Junhwa turned off the stove, pulled a ring from his pocket, simple, elegant, exactly her style. "Marry me," he said. "Build this life with me. Equal partners every day forever." Kimchi knocked over the garlic, demanding attention. Scarlett laughed through tears. Yes. 1,000 times yes. They'd both gotten what they needed. Love that honored who they were, not who they were supposed to be. And that was everything. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness can change everything, and that love isn't about where you come from, it's about who you choose to become. Drop a comment below. What moment resonated with you most? Was it Scarlett stopping in the rain, Junhwa's vulnerability at the parking lot, or their choice to build something real together despite the odds? Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the simplest act of kindness on the darkest road can lead you home.